What's good, y'all? Welcome to another video, and today we are talking about Colby Covington, Leon Edwards. All of this shit talking again leads to the same result at L for Covington. Let's talk about it. Come on, man. What's good, y'all? So realistically, I personally don't believe anyone thought Covington was going to beat Leon Edwards other than the delusional fans that he does have. I think real fighters knew he was not going to win that fight. Real people who had a brain knew he wasn't going to win that fight. But I got to say this about him, right? He does know how to market things as far as fights go and bad blood and, you know, just building up a character, a villain character to make people have emotion directed towards him, whether it's heinous and terrible emotion towards him or it's, you know, happy, cool emotion towards him. You see what I'm saying? So I got to give him credit there at least, because I do believe it's all a stunt. I do believe it's all a publicity stunt. I personally think he's really not that guy that he comes off to be. I'm not vouching for him. I'm not saying he's a super good dude by any means, but I just really think it's all phony. I think it's fake. And you can kind of tell even by the way he fights. That fight against Leon Edwards, he didn't look like, he wasn't the aggressor. He didn't look like he was the version of himself talking shit. Like, he didn't look like that version in the fighting stance with his opponent facing him. Like, and he never does to me. You see what I'm saying? In any of his previous fights. I think he's just a prime example of somebody who's better at this side of the business than this side of the business, right? And me personally, I believe he's just the Walmart brand version or a lesser version of Conor McGregor. He's not as good as a fighter as Conor McGregor. He's not as good as a shit talker as Conor McGregor. He's not even as relatable. He's not as, like, Conor McGregor came in and he really put UFC on his back, and he was a super polarizing figure. He, again, made people have one or two options or choices how they felt about him. You either loved him or you hated him, period. There was no like, I don't know. It, like, you was never in the middle with him. You either loved him or you hate him. Colby is one of those guys as well. Like, he took that from Conor McGregor, I feel like. Although he's always had this semi-reputation, he just couldn't take it to that level that McGregor was at, right? But I just don't think he's ever really been that guy. You know, he's not exciting to watch. Maybe his press conferences might be and his face-offs might be, because he goes so low. And I feel like when you're somebody like that really just values, I guess, getting under people's skin so much that you're willing to just say anything, I think, you know, after a certain point, you're really looked upon as somebody that if you don't get the job done, you lose all credibility. And I feel like he's one of those guys. Like, I feel as though he loses all credibility. Call me crazy, but I feel like he's one of those guys that you might see him get knocked out in a regular public bar. You see what I'm saying? Like, just with the shit he talks and how he doesn't necessarily back it up. You see what I'm saying? Now, of course, he's a professional fighter. He does this for a living, so I'm not saying anybody gonna just come out and beat him up, you know, off the streets, but what I'm saying is he's still one of those guys that would put himself at risk for that to happen to him. You see what I'm saying? Like, if some news broke out and said he was knocked out in a club somewhere, I would believe it. You see what I'm saying? I would not be surprised. But again, he tries to use his reputation to spin off and get the fans of, like, a Trump supporters and get the fans from just the U.S. Like, he's like the U.S. champion. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how he walks around. Like, I'm the United States guy. Like how people look at, like, a Dallas Cowboys. He feels like he's that individual person for the country. When in reality, bro, you're not, you know, again, you talk a good game. So I got to give you that. But as a fighter, very disappointing. Now, mind you, Leon Edwards is the champion. He's been the champion, second defense. You know, he's definitely the guy to beat right now. He came in there poised. He didn't come out there trying to, you know, do something crazy. Although I do believe he could have, but he didn't. I know he did wanted to go for the knockout, or he wanted the knockout, but you could tell he still was playing it safe. You know, he was giving some type of respect, I guess you could say, to a Colby Covington, because he didn't want to look sloppy. He didn't want to, you know, get beat on any type of, you know, aggressive or heinous move of him doing it to a point where like it could, come back and bite him. Like he didn't want to make too many mistakes, right? So he played it safe. But even him playing it safe, he still outclassed him easily, in my eyes. I think it was an easy payday. It was an easy fight. And at the end of the day, it's like, Dana White needs to really like reevaluate himself and how he chooses these competitors and, how he looks at who gets, those title shots and who gets those opportunities, because Covington honestly really did not deserve this shot against Leon Edwards for the title. He didn't. Like, his track record is nothing but L's as of late. You see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people that you could have put in his place that would have gave a better fight, that would have been a better opponent, that would have made way more sense for the whole UFC brand as a whole. But you can clearly see Dana White plays favorites. And it sucks when it's like that, because when you're fighting in a company for someone who's playing favorites, it's going to fuck everything up, because now everybody's looking at him like, yo, bro, I'm better than him. You know how many UFC fighters think they better than Colby Covington? Which honestly could probably prove it as well. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know how many of those is out there? And again, like, I give it to you. Colby Covington knows how to market fights. He knows how to get under people's skin. But at some point, you have to look at that and be like, yo, it's a gimmick, bro. Like, that don't mean we're going to get a good fight from this guy. That don't mean he going to come out and be the champion and win. Like, it don't mean that. He's just really getting under people's skin, making people feel some type of way, and then losing. So it's like, bro, what was all that shit for? Like, really? You could have did without all of that, respected him as the champion he was, and fought and lost with dignity and pride. You see what I'm saying? But instead you lose, and now we look at you again. Damn, I guess all that shit talking ain't working for you, huh? You see what I'm saying? Like, you just leave people to have other opinions about you that really don't favor you going forward. But luckily for him, again, he's Dana White's favorite, and I don't know why, other than the whole marketing aspect of how he builds fights. But, bro, he's not a good fighter, man. Like, he's really not. He's a decent fighter. He's not a good fighter. And his antics is just, they're overrated, bro. Like, at some point, you got to look at him like, honestly, like, if I was on the press conference with him or I had to fight him, he's one of those guys, like, I'm not taking serious. It's almost like what Khabib did to McGregor. Like, Khabib looking at McGregor like he talking all this shit. Don't worry, I'm going to get him in the ring. Got him in the ring. He talking to him in the ring, beating him up. Like, what's up? Talk that shit now. That's how I would treat that guy, because it's like, bro, it's to this point, it's like, it's unbelievable, bro. Like, you're not that guy, man. And time again, we've seen that you're not that guy. So it's like, I know this is the only thing that you got that's partially working for you, but, bro, you would probably have a better career now if you just said, you know what, fuck it, man. I'm going to stop all this acting bullshit, and I'm going to just get straight to fighting. I'm going to just focus more so on fighting and just coming out there and just winning. Like, if you would have just do that, instead of coming out there like, yeah, I want to fuck with him, I want to talk about his family, and I want to do this. Like, bro, I think you would just have a better career. You see what I'm saying? But, yeah, I mean, I think the fight wasn't even really all that. But, again, it was just, you proved what we all knew. And, talk is cheap. You see what I'm saying? Talk is cheap. And I think, again, Dana White needs to reevaluate who he's choosing to put people up against for title defenses, bro. Like, put somebody who's deserving in that position. Leon Edwards was on record, like, before this even started, when it was just mentioned, like, yo, I'm not fighting this guy for my title. He ain't deserve it. I'm not fighting him. But, of course, business is business. You got to do it, bro. You got to. You see what I'm saying? Oh, he going to vacate you feel me? He's going to be petty. So he had to fight this guy. He didn't want to fight him, not because he was scared of him, but because he felt like he didn't deserve it, which he did not. But he fought him, got a W, like we all knew he would. So now what, bro? Like, you gonna give this man another opportunity to come back and get a rematch or some dumb shit like that? Like, come on, bro. So, moral of the story, I feel like Dana White, you could do better. I feel like Colby Covington is pure mid, not even, a little less than mid. Like, he's a regular average fighter, bro. He doesn't deserve most of the opportunities he gets as far as fights go. You see what I'm saying? Realistically, he's had some good spots here and there, but way more dry spots in his career. So I'm just like, bro, you really not that guy. And for Leon Edwards, he's doing his thing. I think this is his time now. I think he's definitely got a lot more great fights in him. I think he will continue to defend the belt because I think he's only going to get better. You see what I'm saying? I think he's only going to get better. I'm not saying he's the greatest by any means, but I think he'll get better, you know, and I feel as though he'll be able to, you know, change his approach with certain opponents that come across his path depending on their fight style and how they move, because he's definitely a smart fighter in the ring. No question. He's a smart fighter. You can tell he's thinking a lot. But while he's thinking, he's not making dumb moves while he's thinking in the ring. Like, he's evaluating his opponent in real time and really not going far left. Like, let me just jump out the window and do this and see if it works. No, he's like, okay, I'm going to set this up. Okay, boom. All right, I seen that work. I'm going to set this up. See what I'm saying? Like, he's a strategic fighter, and I think he can go a long way with that. So, shout out to Leon Edwards. Colby Covington, just do better, bro. Like, just give up. Just give it up, bro. Like, please. I mean, I don't know nobody who likes talking shit and losing. Like, I don't know nobody that likes that. But obviously, Colby Covington, he's the guy for that. I guess he's that person. But I don't know, man. That's just weird to me that you just love talking so much shit and losing to the person you was talking shit to. That doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, to each his own. But yeah, let me know what y'all think, man. Do y'all think Colby Covington is even really a great fighter? Not even great. It's even, because we know he's not great. Do you even think he's a good fighter? Do you think he's a good fighter, or is he an average fighter or below average? Me personally, I feel like he's right on the tier of below average and average. You feel me? Like, he's right on the tier of below average and average. Really more so towards below average, in my opinion. But yeah, get in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all thought about the fight. Let me know what y'all thought about UFC. Oh yeah, and Sean Strickland, he got it in in the crowd. You feel me? And he was respectful about it. So I also think he's making a name for himself, but that's a whole nother topic. But shout out to him for getting active and showing people don't fuck with him, don't play with his name. You feel me? But yeah, just like that, man. I'm out of here. If you like the video, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. And just like that, I'm gone. Peace.